Do you think the boldness, yet again, the temerity to release that video is as a result of maybe the kind of backing that they have? One, the arms that they were brandishing, that they were flaunting, not small arms, not cheap arms. I'm not a gang member. I'm not a security member as well. But I like to believe that such kind of machine guns as displayed are very expensive machine guns. So what's your take on that as well?
Yeah, you see, these gang members or called group, whatever you call them and so on, are heavily sponsored people prior to this time.
Okay.
I keep maintaining the fact that these are young men that were heavily armed prior to this time, maybe before the electoral process, and maybe the people that funded them or mobilized them do not have the capacity to demobilize them.
Okay.
After being used or whatever. And the people are now on their high distance because the kind of machines they are and the arms they are carrying is not the kind of arms you say they attack police to take from them. It's a high caliber of arms and assaulted rifles. So these are not arms that is common on the streets. These are arms that were deliberately procured. So you see that there is so much to it. Two things, two sources. One, the politicians across board must have mobilized or equipped this police. Another one is IOCs. IOCs are also providing funds for them for surveillance. They give them money for pipeline surveillance, protection of oil facilities within their catchment areas, and so on. So much money is being released through that source also.
But
if other criminal activities.
Sorry, let me come in now, Charles. If IOCs are releasing money for securing of pipelines, the procurement of these arms, these guns, these machine guns, as I like to call them, would have to pass through customs, would have to pass through the various ports. How then is it possible? And that's my first confusion. No right thinking gang people will want to make any procurement through Nigeria is one of the biggest markets for gun runners across Africa and the world as a whole. Okay.
And our borders are so porous and open that arms can come in freely. If in fact you go to most of the rural areas that are coastal by nature and so on, you will see arms moving or coming very, very freely at nights and so on. So how to get the arms is not a problem, but to raise the funds is a problem. And then if the funders are there, if IOCs is giving them money, huge amount of money to do pipeline surveillance and so on, and they do that and they give them money, these are the tools and weapons, equipment they use in making that, carrying out that assignment given to them. And they also have clash of interest, supremacy of interest and so on, on who to control specific and particular territory. So they raise a lot of money from these two sources: politicians before the election, IOCs within the period, and then there are other kidnaps and so on. And bunkering, also another source of generating funds for such arms and so on. So there is so much proliferation of firearms within the communities, not Ahoada alone. All over the communities across the states, is fully, highly proliferated with firearms.
That's the next place I wanted to go into now. Proliferation of firearms. Is that not a concern? I mean, yet again, if you watch that video and you see how well armed that gang was, or the gang, is, you want to think that's just one gang in River State. There may be several gangs in other parts of River State.
So many gangs, so many everywhere. Even in Ahoada, there are other gangs. Even in Ahoada, there are other gangs, across the communities and so on, that are still armed and loaded like this. And if you look at the arms, those are brand new arms. Most of them are brand new arms. highly expensive and sophisticated arms and so on. These young men are not people that are doing anything. Where do you think they generate such money?
So how do we disarm all of these boys? Because now it looks like we're going back to the early 2000s, where we had the proliferation of weapons in the hands of young people who went about doing, one or two violent activities.
We're already on that. We're already on that, and that's if not more than that, because currently, whether deliberately or indeliberately, communities are even engaging armed groups to take care of their community.
Interesting.
Because of, in some cases, the security inability to protect the people there. They resort to self-help. They engage these same armed groups to take care of their communities and so on. So the entire area is proliferated. Some are even been allowed by federal government. In some places, they openly carry their arms along with other security members' arms and so on. So it is a known fact that there is so much high catching of arms proliferation in River State, across the communities and so on.